Greetings and welcome everybody to the Tuesday Live, the New Immune 365 Healthy by Choice live lecture series. I am hosting Desiree Dubonnet and Rita Nemere, and this evening we're going to be talking about life force and electrons and energy and oxygen and all those things that are necessary for maximum and maximized potential of the body and living the life to the full and living our purpose and really making this life count. So we've talked on many of our YouTube trainings on oxygen, on lungs, on the blood, on the cell vitality, and at the risk of repeating oneself, but sometimes it's necessary also because we hear things in different layers sometimes as well. We're going to be having a look at a great video that Professor Desiree Dubonnet sent me, and just going through some really high nutrient dense natural nutrients full of life force and other things that we can do that raise our life force. For example, being with pleasant company where there's an equal energy exchange, that raises our vibration and our electron flow. So those of you who are therapists, those of you who are clients and patients of people who are using the quantum software, are aware that that's exactly what that device is doing. It is raising life force. It is clearing the blockages, and which could be emotional, neurological, spiritual, physical for that matter, or all together. You're aware of the time crystal device, which is offering a 24/7 scalar wave protection from toxins and emotions, and restoring our life force and our access, if you like, to the morphogenic field, the universal field of wisdom. So you're aware of that, and most of you are aware of things like medicinal mushrooms and bee pollens and raw jellies and blue-green algae and sprouted organic sprouts and organic fruits and nuts and things. So let's really just contextualize this life force and look at also lifestyle things. So I suppose you could say life is a constant, a nourish and detox, and nourish and detox, and nourish and detox as we go through our trials and our tribulations, and as we live to achieve a much higher life force vibrational state. So there's always lots to share. There's always lots to learn. And this video is really good. I hope you've got your pens and papers ready. It's an hour-long video, so I'm going to let it just play, and then we can summarize at the end and look at some practical steps in terms of raising our own vibration, in terms of our plan. So remember always that effort comes from within us and us. So in order to achieve, we need to effort. As we effort, we met. As we effort, we met. So God, the universe, the morphogenic field, comes in to meet us. If we don't effort, we're not going to get there. Some people are really low in things like dopamine because of stress, because of nutrition, because also the liver and the blood aren't signaling to the hypothalamus to release hormones. Possibly also the hypothalamus pituitary pineal can be full of plaque, full of calcification. So there's all reasons why the dopamine is not released and our will to do things is not happening. So that's a very important part. Our body's innate potential to heal will heal, given the right nutrients and so on. But at the end of the day, we also need that dopamine, that willpower to effort. So I'm going to leave you with that as we watch the video.
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together.
In darkness, cold. In light, cold. The old sun brings no heat, but there is heat in breath and life. In life there is the Force. In the Force there is life. And the Force is eternal.
For my ally is the Force. And a powerful ally it is. It's energy
to the outside world. Change in the microtubules in one brain cell can affect microtubules in another. But that's not all. Quantum theory claims that every single point in space, even empty space, can contain information.
Yes, this information can be taken by the microtubules, processed, interact with, and if we gain enough power of will.
This means the information in the microtubules can connect and become entangled with the universe outside the brain.
And now our willpower, our mind power, can awaken and unleash the force within us.
No different. Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
Breathe. Just breathe. Reach out with your feelings.
Always remember, your focus determines your reality. When you learn to quiet your mind, you'll hear them speaking to you.
I don't understand.
With time and training, Annie, you will. You will.
Do or do not. There is no try.
The word mind has doubts, false beliefs, anger, separation, a false sense of time and space. It sees things as separate. The word mind then can fail and rationalize failure so easily.
What do you see?
The island. Life. Death and decay that feeds new life.
Your concentration here and now where it belongs.
But Master Yoda said I should be mindful of the future.
But not at the expense of the moment. Be mindful of the living force, young Padawan.
Yes, Master.
Warm. Cold. Peace. Violence.
And between it all,
Balance.
The Force is a metaphysical, spiritual, binding, and omnipresent power that's essentially an energy field that connects all living things in the galaxy, and is what gives both the Jedi Order and the Sith their powers.
Energy. A force.
And inside you.
Inside me. That same force.
Paradox. It empowers and imprisons, it destroys and unites, it binds the galaxy together and tears people apart. It has a will, but needs a commander.
There is no greater challenge than to change from within, but that is what we all must do to survive. On countless worlds, I watched Jedi sacrifice themselves to delay inevitable defeat. The Force is in motion, and we must follow. The old ways aren't enough.
The Sith Code teaches us to break our chains, but freedom is not your ultimate goal. You must anchor yourself to power.
Jedi approach the Force as a companion, and Sith try to enslave it. But I trust the will of the Force.
Sometimes, evolution requires a push, or a sacrifice. Until you embrace your full potential, you will only be a pawn of fate, never its master.
In life, I dismiss the Jedi Code. I was wrong. There is no death. There is only the Force. And it has a plan. The will of the Force is a flowing current
How can we increase our mastery of the force? Through nutrition. What nutrition do we use to increase the force? Aaron Schrödinger wrote a very, very important paper in biology where he found that the organism needs to feed on negative entropy. But what is entropy? You see, according to the second law of thermodynamics, heat must pass from the hot object to the cold object. The hot coffee cup will go to room temperature. As entropy means that there's kind of a diffusion of energy to a balance point. If we take hot water, cold water, here we have some ink. As we apply the ink, we see that it diffuses in an entropic fashion, kind of a random fashion, without true quantum control. And in the hot water, the diffusion is a little faster. So what we can see now is that entropy requires no maintenance. It just happens. It's the second law of thermodynamics. Whereas neg-entropy requires a quantum biofeedback system. What is neg-entropy? Well, basically, life proceeds because there is an organized principle of a set of laws that seem to be a quantic-like laws that mean that life will fight against diffusion, against the second law of thermodynamics. In a living system, there's a quantic life force and a quantic life force working against entropy. This life force stops thermal decay, and the organism can remain at a different temperature than the room. This life force stops thermodynamic decay, and gives an organized structure that allows life to exist. Because life exists because of a controlling of the atoms, the molecules, that they proceed in an orderly fashion to do things that accomplish life's goal. But if there is death for other organisms, because there's a life energy, and while that life energy is there, other life will try to feed on that negative entropy. Because as Schrödinger said, there's a negative entropy. It's a device that the organism uses to maintain itself in an orderly fashion, to be able to fight against the sucking of a thermodynamic environment. So, without doubt, organisms should feed on negative entropy. We need foods that have that negative entropy. And the number one place, we're going to find it in plants, because plants have that negative entropy. Plants are growing objects. And way back in the beginning of recorded history, we started to see people writing the Bible way back in Babylon. And they were writing the Bible, and they had a communication with God. They opened their spirit and had God consciousness coming in to guide them and inspire them. This is the belief of who wrote the Bible by the hand of God. And he told us that seeds, fruits, shall be our food. That these things which have the most amount of neg-entropy would be the best foods for us. And that way back in the Bible, back in Babylon, when the Israelites were taken captive, Nebuchadnezzar hired Daniel. And Daniel's men refused to eat meat because they knew that it didn't have the proper life force. They were inspired from God, and they used biblical food. They used a type of pulse, a type of bread that was made from different types of germinated grains. And one day Nebuchadnezzar challenged him. He said, "My men eat lion. They eat meat. They're strong." And Daniel said, no, his men ate pulse. And they went out into the field and challenged each other. And Daniel's men were much stronger, eating the pulse, eating the germinated seed bread, the germinated seeds, the sprouts. They had much more strength than the lion-eating men of Nebuchadnezzar. And God guided the men to write into the Bible this and other things. And basically, he was then able to tell us that the fruit will be the food and the seeds and the leaves for healing. The power of that life force to grow the controlled atomic molecular structure inside the plant, taking in the rays of the sun and the minerals of the earth, and making us the perfect blend of food. And we found that in the sprouts, there's a high amount of energy. And here we have broccoli sprouts, which contain 100 times more cancer-fighting agents than the actual broccoli. And here we see the sprouts. It's this life force. There's an enzyme inhibitor inside the seed and just a little bit of water, and it washes away the enzyme inhibitor and allows the sprout to happen. This is what Daniel had, in sprouted bread that they used. And here we have broccoli sprouts, a very, very fine food that helps us in 1,000 ways and will give us energy, negative entropy energy, to fight against entropy, to fight against disease, decay, and aging, and to make us sharp and better for sports. That we see the beauty and the expansiveness of the plants that have that fiber and have that energy from the sun, that were made the perfect food, as our people from the Bible told us. And now we can get live spirulina, different types of algae. These things are living beings that have that negative energy, that neg-entropy, as well as yogurt. Yogurt also contains it. Here we have fruits, and fresh fruits and vegetables contain that negative entropy that gives us life.
Animal cells are encased only in easily digestible membranes, which allow the enzymes in our gut to effortlessly liberate the calories within a steak, for example. On the other hand, plant cells have cell walls that are made out of fiber, which acts as an indigestible physical barrier, so many of the calories remain trapped. Processed plant foods, fruit juice, sugar, refined grains, even whole grains, if they've been powdered into flour, have had their cellular structure destroyed, their cell walls cracked open, and their calories are free for the taking. But if you eat structurally intact plant foods, chew all you want, you're still going to end up with calories completely encapsulated by fiber, which then blunts the glycemic impact, delivers sustenance to your friendly flora, activates what's called the ileal brake, which dials down your appetite, and, frankly, dumps trapped calories out the other end.
Plant fiber is extremely needed for our bowel flora to be able to make all the different chemicals that we need for life, all the different hormones. We need to have plants.
Those eating more plant-based appear to effectively be burning more calories in their sleep. The resting metabolic rate of those eating more plant-based maybe 10% higher or more, a boost of metabolism that can translate into burning off hundreds of extra calories a day more without doing a thing.
And you see these plants, especially fresh plants, even sometimes cooked plants, but they have the different factors needed for life, and they have a life force. The synthetic chemicals do not have that. It's a pharmacological fact that a synthetic anything is an insult to the body. In order to get a patent, you must prove that your compound is not of nature. If it has a patent, it means it's unnatural. To get a patent, you must prove that it is not of nature. You made it. It never existed before. Then they can get you a patent. And when we look at the synthetic chemical companies, and we compare the natural versus synthetic, that the natural is superior. Most importantly, it has an energy factor, an energy given to it from that life force that the chemical companies do not understand. So we must avoid synthetic foods, the patented foods, avoid the high glycemic foods, the processed foods, the white sugars, foods boiled in oil, nitrates, in order to sharpen and get our energy, to increase the force, the prana, the chi, to follow the Tao and the Dharma, and to have the best control over our lives. Here's natural vitamin C on the left, crystallized, and synthetic vitamin C. The natural vitamin C has energy. It plays with the light. It has the electrons that are energy. The synthetic does not. There's no life force here. We have to understand that the 0-calorie sugars, these sweeteners, they have no life force. They destroy the life force in your bowel bacteria, and they make disease. There's no life force in these synthetic patents. There's a problem here. This is sugar and life force free. Disease in a bottle. Organisms need to feed on negative entropy. They need to feed on the living quality of life. This is very important. In order to build your own force, to be able to build your own life, to have health, mental health, wealth, success, get off of all the synthetics and get onto natural negative entropy plants. Flowing through us, the force, Prana, the Tao, Dharma, Chi, these energies flow through us as we walk through the path of life. Let's understand more. Here we see a Chi master demonstrating forces of healing and electricity that's been measured. And we find that inside the nerves, inside all the cells of the body, there are microtubules that have a quantic state that can interact with things in the outside world in small ways.
Life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it.
In basketball, we talk about the shooter's role, the power that the shooter has to get a role, to affect things in small ways, but yet to affect things.
Microtubules in one brain cell can affect microtubules in another. But that's not all. Quantum theory claims that every single point in space, even empty space, can contain information. This means the information in the microtubules can connect and become entangled
Are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second.
Through force of mind, through force of will, the winners have a way of creating luck. They say it's better to be lucky than to be good. You see, the winners can influence things with a little bit of extra push from the mind. Small different distances to create the event.
And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that itch. Because that's what living is.
The powers of the positive mind are talked about so much in sports. The ability to influence, create luck. Winners have this, losers don't.
Chi, internal energy, the essence of life. It moves inside of us, flows through our bodies, give us power from within.
We can understand now how the quantic microtubules can influence this chi, this energy, this force, and influence the Tao, the Dharma.
I get it. Like the Force in Star Wars. You're Yoda and I'm like a Jedi.
The effect that we have can be small and subtle. So we have to understand and train as we see that there is truly the ability to affect electrical forces.
From here and my negative from here, and we meet together, this can get like electricity.
And is this because you're special? You have a special sort of
It's
body?
meditation every day.
It's meditation that does it.
Meditation every day. Like you can touch me, like this. It's nothing, okay? It's my burn. It's just like this.
For our sound recordist, it was also a shocker.
The Dharma is the passage through life, the things that happen. We can't control it completely, but we can.
Side, and showed us how chi can also be used to set things on fire.
proper exercises, proper training, we can learn to control and accentuate our microtubule quantic effect and take charge and take hold of the force, the Tao, the Dharma. And we can train ourselves, even at a young age, to be more aware and to let that superhuman ability transcend and control the force.
The proper way to breathe is to use the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles, but the diaphragm is the main muscle of breathing. As you inhale, it comes down, thus forcing the stomach out. It provides a massage to the liver, the stomach, the entire mesentery, the entire second brain. This is the way that we should be breathing, with the diaphragm. That as it comes down, it takes in air and relaxes then we exhale. Now, people with post-traumatic stress disorder and other mental conditions can have difficulty with diaphragm breathing.
Take your right hand and place it on your chest. Your left hand will go over your belly button. When you breathe in through your nose, your belly's going to go out. As you breathe out, your belly's going to go in. Just make sure the hand over your chest isn't moving.
Problems with the diaphragm can lead to difficulty in breathing, difficulty sleeping, fatigue, pneumonia, and post-traumatic stress, other mental conditions can produce problems with the diaphragm. Thus, it produces problems with the gases, the oxygenation. The diaphragm is hooked to the brain. Mental conditions can affect it, but also problems in the phrenic nerve can produce problems and thus create a disturbance. The phrenic nerve will supply the diaphragm with the ability to move, producing a massage for the organs, helping to get oxygen properly deep into the lungs for complete mental awareness and body awareness. But problems with stress and problems with PTSD can produce a lock in the diaphragm. Watch. You see, stress and trauma can produce a problem with the breathing that produces a chest breathing. This also can then produce problems called hiatal hernia, where the diaphragm also becomes a problem. And the diaphragm is no longer able to massage the liver, the mesentery, etc. And this problem and a lack of the brain and the second brain then comes into effect, producing problems with the stress. Lama's class taught short chest breathing to block awareness of the pain. This was done for women who were pregnant so they could block the pain when they did childbirth. It also then blocked processing of the stress. So this could be used if you have pain, if you're going to have childbirth, but for normal people, this type of short chest breathing is a problem.
Breathing is called the pranayama, which means to extend the vital life force. Yogic breathing reduces stress, relieves anxiety, increases attention and focus, and even over time expands our lung capacity. We are going to learn the Ujjayi breath, or healing breath as it's known. Let's begin. For our Ujjayi breath, we want to sit in a comfortable cross-legged position, extending the spine, making room in our torso to expand our lungs. In the Ujjayi breath, we breathe in and out only through the nose. This cleanses the breath and heats the body.
This very simple technique of belly breathing will help to stabilize the nerves and assist us in processing our stress and also post-traumatic stress disorders.
Take your right hand and place it on your chest. Your left hand will go over your belly button. When you breathe in through your nose, your belly's going to go out. As you breathe out, your belly's going to go in. Just make sure the hand over your chest isn't moving. So let's practice. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. You can keep doing this 10 times for relaxation.
The physical training for the Force will start with some physical exercises. Follow these exercises, make a choice as to which one you wish, and then expand this into at least a 20-minute workout.
Don't make me destroy you.
Your destiny lies with me, Skywalker. The one who knows the truth.
Don't make him destroy you.
As you are training your body and your stamina and the agility, now we want to get into the mind and start you to understand the Force. This type of juggling, this contact juggling, can help your mind to stay focused, and subtle little effects of the mind can come in and then help you as you learn to juggle. Now this man is doing some incredibly precise and extensive juggle, but as you start with one, then two, gradually building up, you will learn the Force as it will start to teach you how to interact with your mind and the environment. Your mind works through your muscles.
And your mind can also work through the space and time. So as you do this type of exercise, you'll start to learn more and more control. And you'll see how it is able, in subtle, small, tiny little ways at first, and then ever increasing, you'll be able to learn control of the force and effect control on different items. And now the next step, being blindfolded. Learning how to, in your juggling, in your life, in your sports, and you'll gradually become more and more in control of the environment around you. We talked about the observer effect. Now the observer can affect things. Well, you, as the observer, are now expanding your effect. And as you learn to blindfold, juggle, then you'll be ready for the next step. To be able to go out into the wilderness blindfolded and expand your mind and your feelings and increase the force within.
The woods, I'm going to ask you if you know of a place where there's some woods close by here that is not real dense and not real open, something that you can walk through slowly, blindfolded. And we're going to play the drum slowly and ask you to respond to that, to come to the drum, to come to the heartbeat.
Okay, now spin until you forget where you started.
It's going to help bring home what it's all about, to be centered in the here and now, to be. As soon as you're not sure you're walking toward the heartbeat, stop, freeze. The point is not to get from A to B. The point is to become the rhythm, the sound of the drum, and meld into it and let it draw you. And let it draw you. Imagine water running down a stream through the rapids. The water finds its way around the log that's fallen in. The water finds its way around the rocks and the boulders. It's not just crashing, crashing, crashing. It takes the path of least resistance. It flows like this. This is how water flows. And this is how you can flow through the woods. This is what you're here to learn. So stay present and be quiet, be stealthy. There's a bunch of brush ahead, don't push through. If you're able to hear somebody else moving, that person's too loud.
I also would say I could like feel people, like the presence of people sitting here. Not only because I could, of course I could also hear them, but at the same time I would say I could feel them with my hands sitting there.
No, we have the capacity to do that actually. Relying on your feel, you're going to learn what's coming up. If you feel a couple of horizontal branches, you're just going to click that, oh, there must be a fallen tree here because there will not be horizontal branches close to the ground. Or you have a bunch of sticks coming up, oh, this must be a hazelnut clump. Okay, I get it. Or you feel an evergreen branch like this, and you, oh, this is the end of the branch. Okay, I'm close to the edge of the tree, I can go around. Or if it's the heavier, stouter part, oh, I'm closer to the middle of the tree. Wonder if I can duck under it. Or, now let's see, the branch is growing this way. This is the easiest way around it, because here I'd have to go a lot further to get around the tree. Just gain a sense from feel. Gain a sense of what's there, how to best get around or through it, as quietly, as unobtrusively as possible, creating as little disturbance as possible. It's all about how you're doing it, not just what you're doing. There are no limits. We create our own limits. If I say I can't stand it, I can't stand it. That doesn't mean I can't stand it. I'm telling myself I can't.
Can meditate everywhere, anytime. Even 3 seconds, 2 seconds, while you're walking, while you're having coffee and tea, while you're having a meeting, so you can meditate.
What are we learning today?
Qi. Internal energy. The essence of life. It moves inside of us, flows through our bodies, give us power from within.
Many people has a little bit misunderstanding about meditation. They think meditation meaning think of nothing, concentrate. So push too much. So we cannot block thought and emotion. In fact, we need thought and emotion. So whether you listen to your monkey mind or not, that's the issue.
I get it. Like the Force in Star Wars. You're Yoda and I'm like a Jedi.
I call monkey mind. Mine is chatting, pala 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 yada yada. So monkey mind is giving you opinion. So whether you listen to opinion or not, it's up to you, right? So through meditation, what we do is we have to make friends with the monkey mind. But how to make friends? Just giving banana doesn't work,
We must learn to see that the word area of the mind is just a tool, it's not the master. And all of meditation is trying to subdue the word area of the mind so that we can feel, and with the total body electric, release the masks, release all the roles and the ideas, and let go of the words.
The right method is you need to give job to monkey mind. How to give job monkey mind? So the simple meditation technique is be aware of the breath. So you ask monkey mind, hello, what's breath? So monkey mind says, yeah, good idea. And be aware of breath. Breathing in, breathing out.
Breathe. Just breathe. Reach out with your feelings.
When
When you feel life out of focus, always return to basic of life.
We're praying?
Breathing. No breathe, no life.
You need too much concentration. Just simply be aware of your breath. Breathe in, out, in, even through breath. One breath. So therefore, we can meditate everywhere, anytime.
Breathe in through nose. Breathe out through mouth. Breathe in. Breathe out.
Of the moment, be mindful of the living force, young Padawan.
Yes, Master.
As we get into the now and we watch the mind, we see the energy of the Kundalini. We see the superpowers that arise, but they are just traps that take us away from the true search to find that true quality of stillness, peace, equanimity, emptiness, and yet fullness. That state of nirvana that takes us to the incredible bliss of enlightenment. Seeing the magic of all things. Feeling. Being drawn towards nothing or repelled from anything. Just complete existence.
Warm. Cold. Peace. Violence.
And between it all,
Balance.
The force.
Energy. A force.
and inside you.
Inside me. That same force.
And now the force, the chi, the prana, awakens us to the Tao, the Dharma, the interplay, karma, life. And we see we can control it. We see what we cannot. We change the things we can. We accept the things we must. And we find the wisdom to tell the difference.
is this. You should obtain the 12 jewels of life no matter what. And the 12 jewels of life are knowledge, wisdom, understanding, freedom, justice, equality, food, clothing, shelter. And after that, love, peace, and happiness. Peace.
And now let's learn from a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away. Let's learn this Jedi meditation.
The Force is an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together. It rests within. Close your eyes and stretch out with your feelings, and can consume you. Examine your intentions. The Force is not a power to be controlled. It is an understanding to be reached. Only a clear mind is necessary for this practice. Feel the Force run through you, bringing light from the top of your head and moving slowly down your body. As you focus attention on the sensations that arise, continue to observe how they change. Let them change. Ease your breath to a natural flow. Our breath can carry us to the Force. Now observe your breath intently, with curiosity, not judgment.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's all I can say. What a treat. What a video. I think following on from Sunday, where we had Phil Johnson sharing everything that's just about being said here regarding life force, prana chi, achieving our greatest potential. Professor Desiree Dubonnet has encapsulated it the same in her own words. This is a fundamental video. I recommend everybody should actually watch this, because after this there's not too much left. And It's given me answers regarding myself and my clients. I hope the therapists in here have got lots of answers, and I hope the patients and the clients that are listening who come in and tell me they're angry, or someone's angry, or someone is depressed, or they're depressed, or whatever. Can you see that is the absolute shadow side? It is the entropy. There is no neg-entropy there at all. And, you know, as I said as well, Phil Johnson is able to put this over so simply, and so is Professor Desiree Dubonnet. I mean, this is just unbelievable, unbelievable. And I just want to share this with you because they were talking about entropy and electrons and the quantum space. Novak, the tennis player, Desi has worked many, many times with him. So that's really, really beautiful. And I think, you know, lots of answers as to why we're sick, why we're stressed, why we're diseased, why we're in pain, why we have inflammation. It's because of the entropy is building up. And we need to reverse that with the neg-entropy, with the life force, the chi, the prana, in everything we think, say, and do. Our physical, our neurological, emotional, spiritual sides. Everything was encompassed in this video. And I think we all got the understanding about neg-entropy. Neg-entropy will ward off disease, inflammation, pain. And that's why people come to see me. They get loaded information on the life force foods, which I'm going to share with you just now. Lifestyle, detoxification, because all of those, breathing, result in a higher neg-entropy, a higher electron spin, a tighter electron spin closer to the nucleus than the proton. We need to be focusing on that. And Desi, you know, told us about the most plant-based foods are living. They're growing objects and, you know, loaded with neg-entropy. So, you know, the especially the organic fruits and seeds and nuts, you know, loaded with God consciousness, she called it. The force, God consciousness, prana chi. Full of sun energy, and the importance also of plant fiber to make the chemicals inside us, to make the serotonin, the dopamine, the hormones, increase our metabolic rate, enhance our life force. You know, when you look at degenerative patients, cancer patients, you know, wanting to continue eating cooked food. Why? It's taking your energy down, further down, pushing you more into entropy, a state of entropy as opposed to neg-entropy. Go for the plant foods. I can read you from one of my cancer patients today. Just listen to this. Let me just find her. She said to me, my pain is going up and down, Jane. I just ate hake and vegetables, but something is telling me I need to stick to vegetables. Vegetables. So she got the info. That's what we need to do. Raise our entropy, raise our life force. And the time crystal, which I'm going to show you in a moment, is doing that. It's keeping the spin of our scalar wave. You saw the geometric spiral, the golden mean. So that is the scalar wave. That is what we are restoring within us. When we work on the quantum device, the software, when we're wearing a time crystal device in the scalar field, when we're eating nutrient-dense, nature-made, quantum-based foods, we are accelerating and restoring the golden mean that gets damaged by toxins and radiation he was talking about. Wow. And that those people that wear it start looking different. The skin is different. That you start seeing the entropy coming through, the youthfulness. And these are all aspects that we can bring in, but collectively we need to do the work, and we need dopamine for that. And if you're too stressed, you're not going to have a load of dopamine. If your gut is blocked, fermented with food and so on, and stuck with amoebas, eating all your serotonin, dopamine, your GABA, your PEA, difficult to exert willpower, difficult to do things. So be aware of that. And the breathing is the path. The breathing unlocks the chi, the life force, the prana, the God consciousness. We were given the power of breath. And that beautiful diaphragm breathing as opposed to chest breathing. Just simply magnificent. Now, if I just have a look at some of these slides here that I pulled through, that it just disappeared again. Let me get them quickly. Let me look for it. Hold on a second. I had it loaded already for us, sorry. Where is it? Just a moment. There's so many on here now that they all start looking the same. Oh, well, I'm just going to save it again as something else to quickly bring it in. Hold on. All right, it's going to come through now. So strange. I had areas on foods like medicinal mushrooms and algae and bee pollen. If I share the slides, just see here, because this is also going to have. Where's it gone? Here. So this one here is Curlian photography. And this is showing us the apple, the life force, the chi, the prana of an apple, a raw apple. The more organic, the higher the life force, the higher the chi, the higher the vibration. And then this is what happens when we cook food. That's a cooked tomato and a raw tomato. And you can see the brilliance of the raw tomato. So why are we cooking? Why are we buying beautiful food, cooking it, and then reducing the energy factor? And there's a lot of waste here, and there's a lot of work and energy the body has to do to reform the cooked food. Whereas here, the innate ability of the body takes the food in and uses it immediately and raises our energy level. So quite interesting that. And then I think very interesting anyway. And then if we have a look here at today, looking at unleashing the life force, these are the products from 365 Healthy by Choice. That all the products contain Ormus. So you will see Ormus Gold on the top of all the products. There is Ormus Gold, which we make alchemically, salt to gold. All right. Lots of biblical references for that. Lots of the wise sages around the world use the Ormus Gold for clarity of thought and to raise the chi and the prana. So it's actually encapsulated in all the products. But for example, if we start with DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, this is tree plant sap, organic tree plant sap, structured, full of Ormus. Right? Ormus is the substance that allows the spring water to rise up against gravity and flow down a hill. And this is the levitational substance that gives us the prana and the chi. We've got stress differential with over 30 nutrients in there. Life force times 30. And if you follow potentiation, 1 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 9, 30 plus 30 is, I'll leave it for the clever ones to work that one out. The replica RNA, DNA, all the nuclear proteins Desi talked about, you know, the amplitude of the brain, the neurotransmitters, they need to be formed in the body. We need them. Uracil, guanine, cytosine, thymine. The structure of the DNA is structured around the nuclear proteins here. The Activa Stem Cells, so blue-green algae, blue-green algae, royal jelly, pollen, and the phote, cordyceps, lion's mane, all in this. Stimulate adult stem cell production via the bone marrow within the body. Stem cells will morph into any cell that's recalled by the body and go there and repair and restore, rejuvenate. Desi talked about the microbes, essential for imprinting on our DNA, loaded with the nuclear proteins here, loaded with enzymes, loaded with the building blocks and the organisms that produce the vitamins, the serotonin, the dopamine, etc., and scavenge heavy metals and other insecticides. Absolutely critical to health and achieving pranic levels. So there's the Ormus Gold, silver, copper, nickel, cobalt, iridium, palladium, osmium, ruthenium, all the platinum precious metal minerals. Give us superconductivity. And then we've also got the B mix, the pollen, propolises, and royal jellies we talked about. And then also the medicinal mushrooms. There's 6 in here. Chaga reishi, shiitake, maitake, lion's mane, cordyceps. We also have the Coriolis, the turkey tail. And then we also have the algae mix over there, which is the blue-green algae, Chlorella spirulina, and of course our oxygen. So the direct oxygen in the cell vitality OxyMinerals will detoxify the body, therefore raising the chi, the prana. The DMSO also detoxifies and thereby raising the chi, the prana. Ormus will detoxify too. And so will the microbiome reset. In fact, all of these products at the right dosage will detox. So they're nutrients and they're also going to detoxify us. These are all available on the 365 Healthy by Choice website. I urge you to go and have a look. I've got loads of videos almost next to every single product and information. And then regarding something very special, and that is our lungs, our breathing apparatus. So our nose, our esophagus, our throat, trachea, bronchs, bronchioles, alveoli, the thin little membrane. I talked last week about lung cleansing. You can have a look on my YouTube channel. I post 2 or 3 times a week. So if you subscribe, you'll get it immediately, often the unedited form, but that's okay too. If you register for the live webinars, you'll get the replay immediately. So, well, within seconds. So I urge you to do all of that, because then you're not waiting for me to upload and download and edit and all the rest of it. But we talked a lot about the movement of oxygen from the alveoli through the single cell membrane into the blood, and then the movement of blood as it's caught by the heme and the iron and reaches the cell wall, cell membrane, and then with the right potential is able to cross through into the cell, bind with the electrons, form the ATP, and give us the energy, the prana, the life force. So we are a battery, and we need these nutrients to do this for us. So if anybody feels like it, go and listen to the Thursday recording from last week. This Thursday, I'm going to have another recording, the final one on the lungs and the respiratory system, and the absorption and the enzymes required for oxygen transfer. So listen in on Thursday as well. But for the purposes of this, let's just look at the lungs and see what what I want to share with you specifically. Because if the lungs are blocked, the particulate matter is full, there's resistance, there's lots of parasites and mycoplasmas and pneumonias and all sorts of things growing in the lungs. These will cover the surface of the mucous membrane and form slime and block the oxygen going through. So I had a typical lady, the same cancer lady that I read out from you today. post-COVID, never recovered properly, doesn't have enough oxygen in her body. The prana, the chi, everything started reducing in an entropic state as opposed to neg-entropy. We've got to clean those lungs so that with every diaphragmatic breath that comes in, we're getting maximized oxygen, because oxygen is king. Oxygen is what is going to restore health in this lady, together with the high frequency, high neg-entropy plant-based foods. So it's a whole big story that's all saying the same thing. So this lung cleanse and restore pack has got a cell oxygen capsule, the herbs for lung cleansing and restoring the lungs, repairing after the COVID, a big peri-immune defense product here with about 7 of the top herbs for funguses, bacteria, yeasts. And this product here the Replica RNA will restore the lining of the lungs, repair it, and from a cellular level, get the nuclear proteins in and the DNA of every cell perfected. So that one is on a special at the moment, the Lung Cleanse and Restore box. That's this one here, 2,100 Rand, $133. And then a smaller version here, which has got the probiotic, the flaxseed oil, which is critical for the lining of the lungs, for the oxygen to transfer, and the cell oxygen. That one's 699 Rand or $44 US dollars. So there's a choice of 2 there, or in fact both. They're both on special for another week. And I urge us, we have to have clean lungs in order to do all this. So some of us are blocked from past diseases, from grief, from sadness. We're loaded with carbon dioxide. We're not diaphragm breathing, so we're not getting the carbon dioxide. The waste, it goes back into the blood system. It's acidic. When we're acidic, we're going to be in a degenerative space. And then our beautiful time crystal, and this is up close, full of life force. It's got the, just a second. It's got the scalar wave 24/7 protection on toxins and emotions. So we can get hold of this. It's for life. It's for longer than we're going to live. The battery lasts for 3 to 4 years. And another thing to enhance our life force and keep us out of the shadow side, if I can put it that way. So all these products are available on the 365 Healthy by Choice shop. And those of you who want a consultation, want product information or anything, WhatsApp me. There's my WhatsApp number. And, we're very happy to answer all the questions and bring people on board. And, at this stage, I just really want to say welcome to many, many of the health avatars that have come through, that have been part of our process here, our methodology, our magic, in order to help people who are striving for health, remove the guesswork, and, get onto this path that they're looking for now and achieve their purpose and live consciously and so on. So we welcome everybody, and we really do put our work out there. We measure before, we measure afterwards, but we almost don't have to, because people on an evidence medicine-based situation just walk in shining. The whole physique, the body, the forms changed, everything. They are full of prana. I'm going to leave you with that, because that's what this is all about. So have a great, great rest of the day. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back. I'm back on every Thursday and every Tuesday.